Greeting, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is me once again, screaming into the void of the internet. A video of mine is blowing up. I'm talking about. I understand why people call it quits. I understand, and it's pretty surprising to me. It's surprising that it's getting attention, and I don't necessarily know why it's reaching as many people as it is, but I'm not complaining by any means. So I kind of wanted to do a kind of little wellness check, because I want you guys to understand something. Like, even though I'm doing a lot better than I have been doing in a very long time, if you've actually, well, I think there are a lot of newer people are watching that, because obviously I don't consistently get almost 400 views a video and stuff like that, which is, to grand scheme YouTube, that's nothing, but to me it's quite something considering what kind of content this is. Like, if you're new by any chance, I've essentially been looking for jobs for months. It took months. People who have been here for a while will be able to let you know that I've been looking for months, and even though it's going a lot better for me now that I actually have a job and I am earning money, it wasn't always the case. And hearing that how many people it's connecting with and whatnot, hey man, I do understand. Trust me, I understand why you call it quits. Just for today, for example, today was supposed to be my day off, but someone left early for whatever reason, and so I had to come back. And I'm gonna say something about that real quick, because I don't care what anyone says, dude. Spanish people in general, they seem to have a bit of bias, especially in certain instances, because I don't understand how someone who doesn't fully speak English, gets to leave early, come in whenever they want, and they keep the job, and yet we're over here basically sometimes understaffed because this person gets to leave early. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not ripping on Spanish people. There are some decent Spanish people that work just as hard as anyone else, if not harder, and they actually speak English. But I'm mainly talking about the ones that don't speak English, that you wonder about how they're actually supposed to be hired when there's a freaking communication barrier. But what the heck ever, I'm not going to dwell on it too much. I get it, because funnily enough, I'm probably going to leave this store, when my ride gets here, dang near by 1 o'clock, and guess what, I got to come right back to it early at 8. Not because I need to, because I actually start the shift at 9, but if I start the shift at 9, then I'll be behind, because funnily enough, again, proving my point, there's only 2 people that even open up in the morning, so there's no point of me not coming early, especially in the mornings, because then I'll be behind for crap that I didn't control. So, yeah. But I kind of want to make this again because I get it, guys. I understand. Don't interpret that where I am now as not understanding. I've never been one to forget where I come from. You know what I mean? I'm always going to remember being in a freaking slum ghetto, ratchets around me and all stuff like that. I'm going to remember that, And just because I've kept fighting, and it's paid off now, that doesn't mean that there are people who haven't been fighting even longer than I, and it hasn't paid off, I don't know why I don't know why the world is the way that it is, and especially for jobs, I think at minimum, 2 weeks at most should be as long as it takes to get a job, but you've got all these ghost jobs, there's just so much crap, and then the longer that you're unemployed, the freaking worse it gets, because, there's a gap in your employment history, and it's just, it doesn't make sense. This is why I say, I understand why a lot of people are, calling it quits. I understand. Listen, I can't do it because, I'm trying to build the foundation for my life, There is no foundation on my life right now, and like I said, if I could just take this year, if I could take this year, not just the rest of this year, but, a full year working here to, get a foundation, a good foundation going, where I'm saving, again, 70% of what I make, because that's what I'm doing right now, then I'll be good, because when you have something to fall back on, even though you shouldn't, like, just eat into your savings, when you have something to fall back on, you're a lot more comfortable because you're like, hey, listen, I may not be employed right now, but, like, I can pay bills for a little bit. I can, eat, like, you're good. I had nothing. So, that crap was eating me alive, not being able to do anything. So, yeah. But trust me, folks, I understand, man, because this thing is a complete joke. It's a complete scam. Hard work does not result in equal reward. Like, there are people who just do not put effort in anything and things work out on them, and good for them. Because, listen, I've never really been the type of person to be like, hey, listen, things are going bad for me, so it's fine. And, funnily enough, I kind of want to say something real quick. Essentially, I get a ride home from, like, the people who, like, room with us, right? And even through all of this, like, they room with us, and even through this, like, they're still here, and like I've said in my previous videos before, and they'll usually occasionally come and get me, but, like, apparently, like, because I've been giving them gas, but, like, my card expired, and when you get a new card and you activate it and you try and link it up with, like, certain banks, it takes a little bit of a period. And so, I just asked if they could come get me, and they're like, oh, no, we don't have gas, so it's fine, I'll call an Uber. But I just find that very funny that, they're acting like I'm not giving them gas money or something. It's just like, at this point, like, I think once I get my next pay again, I think I'm just going to stop even asking them in general. Just cut them out of the equation. Like, sure, it'll be more expensive, but at this point, it'll certainly be a lot better than essentially asking people that are also working, by the way, like, essentially just trying to use me as a freaking pay pig. So, yeah, it's whatever. That's the whole point about having this. Like, once I get this next paycheck, at least, then I will have more than enough money to, like, guarantee that I'm good. But this is, like, another reason why I really want to get my own space, so I don't have to rely on people that, pretend to want to help, but it's only so that they get something in return. And I don't mind giving them something in return, but, if I can't, for an obvious reason that I have already expressed, then it's fine. It's fine. I digress, though. Trust me, folks, I understand why people are the way that they are with things. I understand why they just call it quits, because it sucks. It really does. And I really wish that things were different, but I feel like the only way that you can do things now is, to just call it a day, and it is what it is. But it's just like you have to think outside the box, and I know it seems like I'm, like, talking about nothing, but it's like my only recommendation to this, because, like, I'm not going to sit around here and say that what I did worked for me, because think about how long it took for it to happen. Like, I think right now you just really have to, like, just sacrifice tons of stuff and just save. And that's pretty much it. Like, you have to get, like, some kind of foundation going to where, like, you'll be all right. And I'll be honest, I was talking to some people in the comments, and I talked about, like, an idea that I had, funnily enough, and this might be extreme, but, maybe it's not the worst thing, because it's, like, presented with, like, homelessness and, like, joblessness and nothing, like, if you were to go to jail right now, like, jails literally give, like, these freaking prisoners tablets now, so it's like, I feel like you'd be able to freaking get a little bit more leverage in jail, of all things. Like, that's an insane, like, suggestion. It's like, why is that even something that you have to consider? It's the way that we've set up this job market and employment in general is just absurd. Like, where all of this billing needs to, like, it just things in general about society, like, you need a lease, like, you need proof of employment. So listen, you don't need that stuff. All that should matter is that you get your money, right? You get your money, you pay your rent, and that's that. There's all of this bullcrap that goes into, like, the tracking, the billing address. It's just all of this crap so that the freaking government can track your every move. It's so exhausting and irritating. It really is. And like I said, again, folks, I get it. I get why a lot of you have just called it quits, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Because honestly, like I said, like, once I think once I get into a nice position, because we're going to probably, I don't know what's going to happen in August per se, because like I said a while ago, they're probably like getting rid of the lease at this house where they are, because like I said, the freaking landlord is a scumbag. So, I get it. But I don't know if we're going to be going with them. But I'll say this, like, we should have enough by then. At least I should. I don't know about what the heck my folks are doing. But at this point, if I have to, like, just guarantee that I'm good, I'm doing that. I don't really care, because I have to prioritize me. I'm in this situation where, I am in the situation that I'm in because of them. So if I'm prioritizing anyone, it's me. Sorry, not sorry. I'm saving everything that I can make. And you can really just shove it up your arse and be pissed. I don't care, because it's not my problem. It's not my problem at all. Because certain decisions that you made led you there, and it is what it is. So I will just say that, come August, like, I will at least be in a much better position. A much better position in general, and I won't really have to worry about stuff this much, because it just kind of is what it is at this point. I don't know, man. I'm just exhausted. I'm just really exhausted as it is. I'm exhausted, and the sad part is I kind of come to this back in the morning, but it's alright, because I'm at least making money right now, and so I have opportunity to change my circumstances. And that's really, like, why I keep pushing, guys, because I really just hate the way that the world is as a whole. Like, some arbitrary construct called currency, stops you from looking at other human beings and stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to be real. Like, every single one of us chooses to do it. We choose to, like, live like that. Because, listen, respectfully speaking, once people, like, just take a little bit of time to realize how much BS it is, if you still choose to do it, then, you got to blame. Because then they say, oh, well, it's not, we can fight them, they kill us all. So what? You're choosing to, listen, you either got to choose to live, like, again, under some bullcrap, or you, like, go out fighting. That's really all it boils down to. And a lot of people have always, even across history, have just discovered, I'm just going to live under it. Think about it. Think about how awful slavery is. Think about having kids who are born into slavery. What kind of idiot thinks that that's something that they should bring kids into? But they didn't stop them, right? Every single one of us helps that problem in some capacity. It's effed up to say, but it's the truth, man. It's the truth. And I know that this video is, like, kind of like a random thing for, like, a so-called mental check-in, but do feel free to, like, let me know how you guys are doing down there. Like, what are the things that you guys are dealing with? Because I responded basically every single comment that I've gotten on those on that video so far, and I'll keep doing it, because, like I said, guys, I do care. Listen, I understand what it is to be in that position. Don't think that just because I'm working right now that everything's all hunky-dory, because, like I said, think about it just like this. Like, friggin' cunts out here getting pissy over, like, gas money that, again, I just told them I got a new card, and it takes a moment for it to, like, link up so you can do transfers. But whatever, it is what it is. It's whatever. I don't really care at this point. Because, like I said, once I get this next paycheck, and this next paycheck is coming Friday, that will be, again, guaranteed more than enough money to always ensure that I can get to and from work. And that's all I really care about, because all that I do now is I go to work, back. To work, back. I don't explore. Like, people were asking me about that, like, today, during closing. I was like, do you go anywhere? Do you explore? I'm like, nope, I just working back. It's fine. Like, I'm fine sacrificing. I sacrifice now so that I benefit later. That's at least what I like to tell myself, All of it could just be for naught. I'm sure I could freaking get shot or run over, or, some kind of accident. There's a lot that can happen in your life, and it sucks, but it is what it is, man. I just have to keep pushing, and that's all I can really say. I have to keep fighting, because I will fight for my place and to at least get some kind of peace, That's all I'm asking. I don't care about money. I don't care about, some wife and kids, like a lot of doomer content, always talking about freaking relationships. Listen, I want peace. I want to feel what it feels like to not have chaos in your life. I want to know what it feels like to know that I've got more than enough money in the bank to afford rent, to know that I can go somewhere, like it's not a burden on me. I want to know what that feels like. All these guys over here talking about love and crap, I don't give a rat's arse, dude. I can accept that love doesn't exist. The only real love that really seems to exist, in my opinion, is love from, if you're lucky, a parent, right? Love from a parent and like pets. Because that love is not conditional, right? That love is not conditional. There are instances where it's like, like you see a cat and you don't even feed the sucker and he just chills in your yard and it's cool and it's just rubbing on you and it's just, you're being friendly and it's just there, And that's why it loves you, because you gave it a safe place, you gave it affection, and that's that. But with people, it's just all of this crap, and, for me, like, I can accept that love doesn't exist. I can accept that, there isn't some freaking chick just needs to descend from heaven and she'll just take all my freaking troubles away. I don't have that impression on things. Like, I just want peace. That's all I really want. So, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here because now I've got to call an Uber to get here, and it's probably going to take a while anyway still, but it's whatever, because I think, like I said, once I get this paycheck, straight up, once I get it, I'm not ever asking anyone for a ride, because if you're going to make a big deal about stuff like that, like whether it's dropping off and coming back, and you're going to make it seem like I'm intentionally not giving you gas money, then, hey, listen, that's fine, because once this check comes, like I said, I'll be good. So, is what it is. Cut the people out of your life that, claim to want to, like, help you and stuff like that. Just cut them out. If you can do it, do it, If you have to tolerate it for a second, tolerate it, but once you can't do it, and listen, that's fine by me, because that means no real need for, like, that freaking chick to be freaking talking with me, trying to flirt with me, all that bullcrap so she can try and get money. F that, because I don't like manipulation. I really despise manipulation, and yeah, it is what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and close it here, boys. I'm going to get away from a ride, and I got to come right back to this early in the morning, so I might make another video. So, let me know how you guys are doing. Let's just have this be a little mental check-in, shall we? God bless. I will see you guys next time.